All right, it's Thursday, August 7th, and pretty slow news day. I was looking on CNN. Basically, their lead story is about the ramifications of the tariffs finally setting in, and how it's affecting trade and industry and the economy. The Dow dropped 200 points today. Also, one of their other articles is about protests across Israel. I guess the cabinet confirmed that they want to reoccupy Gaza. So supposedly there is protests and outrage about the reoccupation of Gaza in Israel. Is there a lot of outrage? I don't know. I know that Israel was very divided before October 7th, and that Netanyahu was about to be brought up on either criminal charges or brought to court and to stand trial for some type of corruption or something. And so none of that took place, but I know Israel is divided, so we'll see what happens with this one. I'm assuming Israel's going to go back in and kill more people because that's what they do these days. Second article, third article, talking about the potential Russia summit with Donald Trump meeting with Vladimir Putin. We'll see. I mean, this has already happened and nothing came of it. We're kind of at the point of no return with the Russia-Ukraine war. So much has been invested in this battle via lives, weapons platforms, money. It's a quagmire, and it's a killing field of both humans and resources and money. Probably 2 million dead on both sides. So probably a total of 4 million. I wouldn't be surprised by now. I mean, I've seen the videos coming out of both sides, and it is a meat grinder, a technological meat grinder, because you no longer really see your enemy. You're basically hunted by drones that are self-destructing, and they just blow you up or blow you into pieces, and then a second or a third drone finishes you off. It's pretty brutal. I'm sure if you're watching my content, you've seen it. But yeah, so we got those. And on Fox, dude, Fox is even more barren. I'm assuming because it's just kind of trying to protect the Trump administration right now. So their top stories on, I guess, that couple that got beat up in Cincinnati by youths. So that's their first one. Next, some court order to stop building at the Florida detention center that the Trump administration has built. Then something about Kelly Clarkson's ex-husband dying, and then more about the Russia-U.S. summit. I wouldn't be surprised if this, I would be surprised if after this summit, the fighting stops. I don't believe it will stop. These summits have usually ended in an impasse on both sides. And like I said, too much has been invested, and this will probably go on till the bitter end. I'm assuming some new conflict will crop out of it, given the sides that have kind of been divided and are now in place. But yeah, so what should we talk about today? I don't know. It feels like we're in the nothing is happening phase right now, where it kind of feels like nothing is happening. Not that I want something to happen, because whenever something happens, it's usually fucked up. But yeah, so nothing is really happening right now. It's kind of media and political theater. There is one thing happening. There was a good video by Truth Stream Media. I believe it's Aaron Dykes and Melissa Dykes. I like their stuff. I've liked it for a long time. They're really good filmmakers. They're really good investigators. I don't know. I watched them during the pandemic, and they went to like all these different libraries, and they were talking about how books were being censored. But I followed them for a long time. Long story short, they have a good video out on how on U.S. government websites, basically parts of the Constitution appears to be edited. So it's specific articles like within and sections. So within Article 1, Section 8 on websites, government websites is missing. Portions of Section 8 are missing. And then Sections 9 and 10 are completely gone. They've disappeared. Those are the sections regarding habeas corpus and regulation of the military within the homeland. So the reason that those sections were supposedly missing is due to a coding error. But do you really believe the government, or is that line slowly getting blurred? I lived through the Palisades fire, and I can tell you that line is blurred, because for almost 6 months, the Palisades was completely guarded and occupied by the National Guard and the Army Corps of Engineers. You had to have paperwork to go in there. There was a curfew. So that line is blurred. It definitely is blurred now. And I don't know, I'm sure eventually it'll be used for nefarious purposes. I'm not saying that was one of them. But another example is as soon as the National Guard did leave the Pacific Palisades, all of a sudden the ICE protest popped up, and lo and behold, the military is back in Los Angeles. So the majority of this year within Los Angeles, there has been military presence, and I would even say occupation of various neighborhoods. Altadena was another one of them. The ICE protests, the Marines were mostly stationed around federal buildings. So the federal building in Westwood and the federal building in downtown Los Angeles, that's where the troops mostly were. But a lot of their logistics and stuff were all in that area, so people had to deal with it. So the line is getting, especially living in Los Angeles, the line is more and more blurred. I don't think people realize that for 6 months, people that lived in the Palisades or wanted to go in and out of that area had to literally hand National Guard paperwork every morning to get in there. Military checkpoints, and armored vehicles all around. There were up-armored Humvees, MRAPs, some of the new, I think they're called Oshkoshes. It is a strange feeling. It's not the first time the military has been in Los Angeles. In fact, sporadically all throughout my time in the city, the military has been here, whether it's been under the guise of civil unrest or natural disaster. The military, one way or the other, is woven into the fabric of this city. Love it or hate it, that's how it is. And I guarantee you the military will be back in the city at some point. So yeah, mark my words. Probably in the near future. I don't know, but it just feels they might not have even left. They might still be stationed at the ICE facilities and federal buildings, just because I stopped following that because it felt like real political theater to me. I spoke about in earlier videos where if you do the numbers and the statistics with the amount of people that have entered this country, and the amount of people that they're deporting currently, it doesn't add up. The numbers would have to be astronomical for it to be actually going on and for it to make an impact. This is more just to get people riled up. I said in my previous video, I believe that the ICE raids and the ICE protests were psyops, and they were planned on purpose to take place in the weeks before Israel bombed Iran. And, you can call me a conspiracy theorist on this, but it really, any opponent of the Israeli Iranian war would most likely be on the left. And so their time and efforts were all focused on ICE. And in fact, the largest protest was on a Saturday, and Israel started bombing Iran on a Thursday, I believe. So would have taken a real effort to try and change all those signs. But yeah, so I think there was a concerted effort on the left using Israel and their proxies. And by their proxies, I mean Israel's heavily invested in 501c3s and nonprofits and activism groups, and they can easily rally the troops. I think the Trump administration was in on it too. So I don't know. Those are just my beliefs. I think it was kind of a big distraction. I got a nose hair. I pulled it. But we're raw and unreal and unfiltered here, folks. So if you're going to judge me for a nose hair pull, we got bigger problems. So yeah, that's my opinion on that. Agree to disagree or agree. That's your call. The timing was immaculate. And like I said before, the meat and potatoes that are being produced by this ICE operation are insignificant compared to the amount of illegal immigrants that entered the country over the last 10 years. We're talking about tens of millions of people, probably close to 12, 13 million people that entered within the last 10 to 12 years. A lot of it under Trump 1. You know, he said he was building that wall. You know what? If he would have built the wall, it might not have been an issue. But a lot of people don't remember, even where there were walls, the Border Patrol was opening the gates and just letting people in during the Biden administration. And we're talking about the like tens and hundreds of thousands. It's pretty nuts if you watch the videos of that stuff. So yeah, I think that's all a psyop for the Israeli war. I don't know. We are definitely in the nothing's happening phase. That might go, you know, I don't even want to say how long it could go on. It can end tomorrow. We're going into a weekend, and let's give them something to talk about. That's what they usually like to do on the weekend. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think? What do you guys think is going to happen soon? What do you think the next doom will be? It doesn't even have to be doom. What do you think the next big news story will be? You know what I have noticed is the Epstein shit. You notice that nothing pertaining to Epstein was in the news today. We talked about that. So, surprise, surprise. Should I live stream? I could talk for a long time. I could also interact with people. I don't even think I have an audience big enough to live stream yet. And to be honest with you, the engagement's not that great. So I don't even know if you guys are watching this to the very end of the videos, or if you even want to hear me for a sustained period of time. I never thought about becoming a streamer, but maybe that's where the money's at. I can definitely ramble, but maybe we'll call this a video. What should we call this video? I think I already have a video called Nothing Ever Happens, so maybe I don't. So maybe this will be Nothing Ever Happens, or maybe it'll be Nothing Ever Happens too. Or maybe it will be rainbow unicorns are flying out of Tehran. I don't know, I shot from the hip on that one. It wasn't that funny, but I am looking at a pretty funny image of Donald Trump AI. But True Stream Media, you guys should check them out. Check out their new video on those portions of the Constitution being removed from government websites. So yeah, let's call it that. We got about 8 seconds until I'm at 13 minutes, which tends to be as long as my videos. I don't know, that's the average time. It just feels like that's enough. Maybe it's too much. Maybe I just need to figure out one thing to talk about, because the attention span of everybody seems to be like that. We're at 13:05. Hope you guys have a good day. It's Thursday. I will see you tomorrow. I guarantee it. We're gonna have a video before the weekend. Tell me what you want to hear about before the weekend. Fucking give me some engagement. That's how we're gonna build this shit. I can make all the videos I want, but if you guys don't engage and tell me what you want to see or what you want me to do, then it'll all be for nothing. But I don't care if it's all for nothing, because this video wasn't meant to be for something, and neither was this channel. It was all just to kind of create content. On that note, happy Thursday. Peace out, Seacrest.